Hi everyone, and welcome to Inside Bristol. I'm your host Sheridan Nichols, and I've got Tina McDaniel with me and Renee Rogers, and we're going to talk celebrations around MLK. Let's start with you, Tina. We've got a lot going on in Bristol.
We do have a lot going on, but before I get into the details of the activities, I'd like to just provide a little background around the MLK holiday. It was signed into law by President Reagan in 1983. The first federal holiday was celebrated in 1986. And here in Bristol, we started with our celebrations as far as the community in 2018. But Lee Street Baptist Church has been involved since the inception of the holiday. There is typically a theme from the King Center in Atlanta, and the national theme this year is cultivating a beloved community mindset to transform unjust systems. So we tried to align with the work that's happening at the King Center. So we're excited that we have a lot of community events that are going on. King University, they're typically a partner, so they will sponsor a speaker, Dr. William Turner. And Dr. William Turner is an author, a noted historian and researcher around Black Appalachian studies. So he will be speaking at King University on Friday, January the 13th at 9:15 at the chapel. And they'll have coffee and an opportunity to kind of engage with him after that event. He'll be at Lee Street Baptist Church that evening at 7:00 p.m. Also, Lee Street Baptist Church will resume their annual MLK celebration, and it will be on January the 15th. And the featured speaker will be Dr. William Ward, and then there is a Tri-City Mass Choir, so that will be a part of that celebration. Rivers Way has supported this event for the past several years with a walk. So we're real excited about that. There's an app that you can download. So it's a great opportunity to get a group of people together to talk about a book, talk about a quote, talk about Dr. King. So that will be something that will be available as well. And I'm real excited about the Birthplace of Country Music Museum and what they have lined up as well. So we'll have all of those events. I know that's a mouthful that I've shared.
Did you get all that?
Yeah.
Hopefully they had a pen and paper.
So the YWCA is going to house a schedule of events. So if you want some additional information about events, you can go to the YWCA website. It's ywcatnva.org. Also, I want to also share what's going on in Abingdon. Dr. Turner will also be speaking in Abingdon, so I've got since I have so many events, I'm going to kind of refer to what they have. Their events will kick off tonight, and they're having a writing session. This is the 60th anniversary of Dr. King's letter from the Birmingham jail, so they're going to have a writing session. They'll have a coach there to kind of help you with that, and it will be at the YWCA this evening at 5:45. So that's an opportunity to engage immediately. Dr. Turner will also be in Abingdon, and that's going to be on Thursday, January the 12th at 5:30. And then Abingdon has typically had a march and a program, and they'll resume with that on Saturday, January the 14th. But I'd like to hear from Renee on some of the exciting opportunities where we can educate the community around different topics. So we've got a lot going on.
We've got a lot going on. I love this. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this. And it's nice to know that we can get involved in Bristol, but also up in Abingdon, there are several opportunities. And it's great to see the whole community come together. And now we get to jump into Renee. So tell us about everything going on at the museum.
So we have several events going on over the next couple of weeks that are around Black history. The first is on Tuesday, January 10th, and that is our first speaker session of the year. We do those monthly. All of the events I'm talking about are free and open to the public. And we are going to have author Christina Gaddy there, who's going to be talking about her book, Well of Souls, The Hidden History of the Banjo. A lot of people assume that the banjo is an American-born instrument, but it was actually born in Western Africa and came here with enslaved people. And so she sort of looks into that history, that very long history, but also the way that the banjo has been used in music and Black culture and in Black resistance, and then also the resurgence of Black banjo players, some of whom we know from our own area, like Amethyst Kia. So that's going to be really interesting. That's at 7 p.m. Like I said, that's free and open to the public, and you can come to the museum in person for that, or you can watch online, because we also do it by Zoom, so that people who aren't here or can't come out can enjoy that.
That's fascinating. I didn't even know that about the banjo. That's great.
A lot of people, just because it's become so iconic in like country and bluegrass music, they assume it was born in America. But the other thing that's cool is that Christina will be here in person, and we will have copies of her book that she will sign afterwards. So that will be awesome. And then the following week, we have several films that we have. We're a Smithsonian affiliated museum, and we have several Smithsonian Channel documentary films that we were able to get through that affiliation to show at the museum. So on Thursday, we're going to kick that off on Tuesday, January 17th with the first film, which is called Seizing Justice, the Greensboro Four, which is about the lunch counter sit-ins in Greensboro, North Carolina. And that is going to be at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. We're going to screen that twice. All of these films are a little under an hour long. Okay. And again, free and open to the public. You just come and join us for that. And then on Wednesday, January 18th, again at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., we have Black Wings, which is about the history of Black people in aviation, from pilots to behind the scenes. Then on Thursday, January 19th, we actually have something in the evening. At 6:30 p.m., we have the Green Book Guide to Freedom, and that is about the history of the Negro Motorist Green Book, which was created to help Black travelers travel safely in America during the Jim Crow era. What's very cool is just down the road from here on McDowell Street is one of those Green Book sites. So we'll be showing that film, and then we actually have some community members who will be joining us to talk about their memories and what they know about Green Book sites in the region. And that is on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. And then finally on Saturday, January 21st, at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., we have Black in Space, Breaking the Color Barrier, which is about the story of Black astronauts and engineers at the crossroads of the civil rights movement and the space race, because it's a really interesting sort of connection between those things that you wouldn't imagine. So all of those are, like I said, from the Smithsonian Channel, and they will all be free at the museum. And all of the details for these are on our website.
That's great. I was going to say, we have offered so much information. This has just been incredible. So if you want to look some of these things up, it's nice. You can go to the museum, or the YWCA has a great list. So
and also regional events that will be occurring in Kingsport and Johnson City will be housed on the YWCA website as well. So if you want to go beyond Bristol and Abingdon to see what's happening in other areas, that information will be available.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, you two, for coming on and sharing so much. We really appreciate it, and know there's a lot going on, a lot of exciting things around this celebration. So thank you for joining us today. And don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host, Sheridan Nichols, and we've got Becky Ollinger joining us, and she is our health fitness guru for the city, and she has got some really good tips for all of us on how to keep realistic New Year's resolutions. Here she is.
First of all, let's establish why people make New Year's resolutions. Researchers have associated this with what they call the fresh start effect. So that's why most people make New Year's resolutions at the beginning of a new year, because they look at it as a new start. Sometimes this can be good for people because it helps them overcome struggles with willpower, determination, self-esteem, but sometimes they make such unrealistic goals that they become overwhelmed and they get depressed about it. So the best way to handle about New Year's resolutions, I think, is to give you some steps that I tell my people, or some steps that I've learned about that helps keep those goals intact. The first thing I would say that you need to do is choose a realistic goal, or a specific goal. Rather than saying, I'm going to lose 40 pounds in 6 weeks, which can be done. I'm not saying it's not attainable, but it's not a very healthy approach to weight loss. 1.5 to 2 pounds per week is a healthy way to lose weight. A better way would be to say, over the course of the next year, I'm going to strive to lose 10 pounds. You might lose more than that, you might lose less than that, but that becomes a far more realistic goal than saying I'm going to lose 40 pounds in 6 weeks. Another thing is to focus on one goal at a time. If you achieve just one small goal, that helps give you the belief in yourself that I can tackle a bigger goal or more numerous goals. Another thing is to put your time into planning. Like don't wait until the last minute to say, I'm going to lose 40 pounds in 6 weeks. Start thinking about your goals before the new year and put them in perspective. Like, decide how you want to tackle the goal, the steps you would need to take to achieve the goal, to be successful at it, and also have your written plan. A written plan can keep you in check with what you're trying to strive and help you achieve the goal. Like, say you're going to have a goal of I'm going to run 3 times per week. But what if you have a week where you're sick or you're injured and you can't run 4 days in a row? If you don't have a plan that has room for setbacks in it, you're probably going to get frustrated and not strive to achieve the goal. But if you have that written plan that includes some setbacks, then you can get back on course and probably achieve your goal. Start with small steps. An example is, let's say you do say you're going to run a marathon, but you've never even completed a 5K or a 10K or a half marathon. So rather than going, because you don't run a marathon every day, even when you're training for a marathon, or if you're a marathon runner. So you want to start with like maybe jogging 2 to 3 times per week, and then slowly working up to longer runs, and then slowly working up to working out more times per week. Another thing to keep in mind is we don't develop bad habits overnight, so we're not going to get rid of bad habits overnight. A lot of bad habits take years to develop. So the reason people sometimes fail with this is because they put in too short of a time frame. Just give yourself time to say, and some bad habits are a lifetime commitment, so it might take you a lifetime to even reach that goal. But try to put them in perspective and say, you know, I'm not going to put a time frame on my goals. I'm just going to work this whole year to try and achieve that goal. Another thing is to get support. It has been proven that the buddy system does work, but when you are choosing a buddy, you have to remember, choose a buddy that has similar goals that you want, and also choose somebody that has limitations. Like if you're wanting to run, and you've never run before, you don't want to pick your buddy as a marathon runner, because they're not going to be able to slow down for you, and you're not going to be able to keep up with them. The other thing is to renew your motivation or your resolution. Always remember, in January when you make this resolution, the first few weeks are going to be a whole lot easier to keep that resolution intact, because you're confident about it, you're motivated about it. But let's say come March, let's say one of your goals has been, I'm going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and exercise. Well, at first, that first month, that might be pretty easy because you're probably making some progress. But come March, the better you get in shape, the more you have to push yourself. So by March, you might be struggling to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to meet your goal. But just remind yourself during that time period, think about the struggles you've overcome, the accomplishments you've made. Praise yourself for the things that you do accomplish. Don't just beat yourself up over the things you haven't succeeded at yet. And that will help you renew your motivation and continue on your journey to meet your quest. If you're not a person who enjoys working out with people, a class is not your best option. Working out in the gym by yourself at a time you can go by yourself might be better. I'm not saying you don't have to do it totally alone, but you don't have to do it with a group of people either. But a lot of times, group exercise is good for people because it not only allows them the time to work on their fitness goal or their eating goal or whatever it is, it also gives them some socialization time. And especially as we become older adults and we lose our spouse and we lose a lot of our friends, socialization is as an important part of being healthy as the exercise or eating healthy. So there are a lot of classes here offered during the day strictly for seniors, But we also offer classes at night, Monday through Thursday, and on Saturday morning for people 16 and over. You can even be under 16, but if you are under 16, you have to be accompanied by a participating adult. And we have, at night, we have body sculpt classes. We have a class called Weights and More, which I teach on Mondays and Wednesdays. And that class, we do cardio, we do weights, we do bands, we do balls. I offer a variety of things because I don't want people to get bored. Because I find the older I get, the easier I get bored. So if you keep things mixed up, that helps people not get bored and stay with it a little bit better. I also tell people, if you haven't been in this class before, and I have participants in here that's been with me for 14 years, don't expect to come in here in this first class and do every round that we do. If you can only do one round of whatever we're doing, feel good about that. At least you showed up, you came, you tried, and next time you'll do better. So that's another way for people to reach their goals.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host Sheridan Nichols, and I've got April Barnes with me today, a radio star here in the area. We're so excited to have you. And 97.3 is bringing a special comedian to the Paramount, so this is a great opportunity, and it's around Valentine's Day.
Yes, as for most people, if they don't know, Love FM is a contemporary Christian station. We've been here going on 5 years now, so we're all about promoting family-friendly events, giving families something to do. And yes, just in time for Valentine's Day. It's February the 9th at the Paramount, and we're bringing in Mickey Bell, so we're so excited.
Well, this is exciting. So if you want to get tickets, how do we go about that?
Go to loveradio.fm, and we have a summer concert series, so he opened up for one of our artists last year. That's how we met him, and he's so funny, but we didn't get enough of him. We only had like 2 minutes on stage, so I'm like, let's bring him back as a headliner. So if people like to laugh, which I don't know anybody that doesn't, they need to get tickets. They're $25. Loveradio.fm. They're going to want to be at this event. It's going to be so much fun.
And I know we were talking, this event sort of used to line up with Fun Fest, but we've changed it a little bit.
Yes,
you all made that decision.
It's always been our event, the Love FM Family Comedy Night, and we used to have it as part of Fun Fest. But I'm a Bristol girl. I wanted to bring it to Bristol, but I also just wanted to bring it as a standalone event so people would know it's actually a Love FM event and not get lost within all the things going on with Fun Fest. And we love Fun Fest, but we wanted it to be standalone and something different that would create an atmosphere for couples. And what better place than the beautiful Paramount. So we're so excited. It's going to be a great date night, but not just that, it's for families. Load up the car with the whole family because it's clean comedy.
That's great. Well, I know we were talking too. I went to the one that you all hosted last time. I know there have been several since then, but it was over at Virginia High School.
Yes.
And it was hilarious.
Yes, Chick-fil-A actually brought that in, but we helped as their media sponsor. It was John Christ. He was so funny. This is our 4th year, I believe, doing the comedy night. We took a break, obviously, during COVID, but we're glad to be bringing it back, and we're glad it's a standalone event now. But we want to be able to bring in clean comedy because, like I said, right now, we're living in hard times, and people need a reason to laugh, and we love being able to offer that family-friendly event.
That's exciting. Well, April, thank you so much for coming on
Thank
and
you
for
so
sharing
much.
that information.
Thanks
Go
for
ahead
having
and
us.
get your tickets now before they sell out.
That's right, because it will.
And get ready to laugh because I'm sure it's hilarious.
It is. It's going to be great.
I can't wait. I'll have to get online and get, because I love to laugh. I mean, who doesn't? It's so good for your mental health. And
really
we do
is.
need that.
It really is.
Well, thank you so much for being on, and thank you for tuning in today. We'll see you next time.